February pile of possibilities. I also did I filmed a TBR game last month, but I never ended up posting it because I can never find time to get anything done. However, both of my children are sleeping right now, and my little guy was not taking naps like he should have been, but right now he has been. Because of a mom friend of mine, she helped me figure out a way to get him to go to sleep, and it's just been getting better every day, thankfully. So anyway, we're gonna try and hurry this up and see if I can get through this. I have my reading journal right here. I never had a reading journal before. This is my first year doing that, and it's been so fun to keep up with. But anyway, here's my February spread. And so I did what I like to call TBR code names. I used if you've ever played Codenames, you know that there's these little cards with words on the back and on the front of these cards, and that's how there's a game that you play with those. We have another version that is a Disney code name. So there's a picture. I have the cards right here actually. There's a picture on the front, and so you can see here's Anna, and then on the back it just says Anna. So I laid them all out. I'm going to insert the clip soon. I laid them all out, picked a map, asked Alexa to pick a random color for me out of the blue, red, and tan. And whatever I got, the other two would be covered up. And so I'm going to insert the clip for that right here.
So we're going to be playing Codenames, and we're going to do TBR Codenames and figure out how to do this. So what I'm going to do is all of these are going to be my prompts. They have the names of the things on the backs of them, and then they have a picture in the front. So we're going to lay all these out, and then I'm going to use one of these maps to figure out, to coordinate with a random color between blue, beige, and red. I'm going to lay all these out, and then we'll pick the prompts that we're going to use. All right, here is our final spread, and then here's our map. So I'm going to turn it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll turn it over, and however it goes. All right, so we're going to be the beige prompts. So let's put the red and the blue things on so we can figure out which ones it is. All right, y'all, this is what we got left. We've got Peter Pan. We've got Robin Hood, but he's also a fox, so might be loose with that. Then we have Scar, who's also a lion. We have Prince Philip on a horse. We have Anna, and there's ice crystals behind her. A sailboat. Dory. Hi-ho, like the dwarves say. So this might be interesting to try and figure out what we get for these. I forgot to mention a rule. So whenever I get beige picked, I also am including the black square in that because there is not as many beige ones as there is of the red and the blue. So the black has to be added in. Now, my one rule for that is that I have to read 2 books that fit this prompt. So that might make this interesting.
So for Prince Philip, that one I needed to pick two books for, and these are going to be very open-ended because it's just a word or it's just a picture. However, Prince Philip has a horse, so I figured why not go with like westerns. Also, I am participating in 2 readathons this month, the Once Upon a February, and also the mini deck of TBR-a-thon for Becca from Becca Books and Bujo, and Chloe from Always Booked. So I'm going to be doing both of those this month. So I don't think I did a very good job at picking things in the way that I should have, but anyway, we're gonna go with it. And this is always just a pile of possibilities. So we'll see what we get to. Anyway, for Prince Philip, I have a book from my 25 and 2025, or 2026 and 2026, sorry. And that is The Rancher's Reunion. I've had this book on my shelf for a long time. It looks very short, very cute, and I can always use a good romance. So, and then another book that I was supposed to read, I think last year, is the Texas Brides collection, and I am going to see if I can get to that. That's just a bunch of novellas in a book. So, but both of those are westerns, and when I think of horses, I think of westerns. So I'm being very open-ended, and I think that it counts. And plus, it's my game. So, all right, the next one that I picked was Scar. Right here, you can see that. And Scar just reminds me of destruction, and the place where he lives in The Lion King is just as deserted and everything. So the one that I picked for that was The Scorched Trials by James Dashner. I've already read The Maze Runner, I think 2 years ago. Loved it. I gave that one 5 stars. I love a good dystopian. So we're gonna see what that one gets us into, because the place where The Maze Runner ended up, I've never actually seen the movies either. Just the Maze Runner movie. And it was very, very much a cliffhanger. So we'll see if I can remember enough to be able to go into this one and not have to reread anything. Now the next one that I picked up was Hi Ho, and it has the dwarves on this other side, you can see. So this one is going to be kind of funny. So I am going to read The Lady's Mind for that by Francine Rivers, because dwarves, mine, you get it? Anyway, that one is going to be for Oshina's Francine Rivers challenge. Anyway, sorry, I'm cracking myself up. Is Robin Hood. And Robin Hood is a fox. So I have on my 2026 and 2026 The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman, and there is a fox on the front cover of that book. So I thought that was pretty clever of me too. Now, the next one I picked up was Peter Pan. Now, I have never actually read Peter Pan, so that is what I chose. I didn't even write down who the author was. Sorry. I've never actually read Peter Pan, so I want to read Peter Pan this year. I've heard it's very dark. Now, if you've ever watched Once Upon a Time, I'm not actually surprised by that, because he is very dark in that show. So going with that in mind, I am hoping to really enjoy it, actually, because I know some people read Peter Pan and they were just very surprised at how dark it was. Now, I know that it's supposed to be dark, so we'll see what I think going in. Now, next one I had was Anna, and behind her there's ice crystals. So I picked Always Look Twice by Elizabeth Goddard, because there's ice on the cover of this one too, and this is the second book in I don't remember what the series is called, but I already read the first one. This was like maybe 3 years ago. I don't really remember anything about it, so hopefully I can have enough of a memory while reading it to not have to go back. But I've really been in the mood for suspense lately, so I'm hoping that this is just what I'm looking for. Now the next one is Dory. Picked up Dory, and that one I'm going to be reading A Splash of Love by J.C. Weaver, and that one will fit into a prompt by Caitlin over at Chronicles of a Book Nerd, her indie challenge that she has this year, because it says on that challenge to read a J.C. Weaver book, and I actually own it on Kindle, so that is where I'm going to be reading it at. But you can see that there is a mermaid tail in there, so fish and mermaid tail go together, right? So that's how I'm going to be putting that. Now, next one is The Sailboat from Moana. Now, I have this book called Peter Panhandler by Laura M. Floating, and I have this on Kindle. I think I got it. I get like 99% of the books that I have on Kindle for free, and I'm pretty sure this lady is a Christian author, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, but since I'm going to be reading Peter Pan, I'll read Peter Panhandler next, so it'll be fresh in my mind. So anyway, I'm excited for that one. Actually, I love fairy tale retelling. So now on to some other possibilities that I own on Kindle or were sent to me by some authors, or just ones that I thought sounded fun. Oh, and let's start with these books I have to read in February. The Lady's Mind is one that I have to read because of Oshina's challenge. The Lies We Trade by Christine Delano. I participate in, if you've never heard of this group on Goodreads, you should definitely go and join it because it's amazing. They have such great reading challenges on there. It's called Christian Fiction Devourers on Goodreads. Go search it up. You'll thank me. Okay. They have a challenge called Pick For Me, where you pick a book every month out of someone else's list of books that they want to read. So the one that I chose this month is The Lies We Trade. That looks like a thriller, possibly. I really have been wanting to read a thriller lately, so I have that one on audio, and I am hoping to get to that one. Well, I said I'm going to get to that one. That's going to be one of the first ones I read, I hope. The next book that I need to read is On the Trail of Truth by Michael Phillips, because I'm also participating in another challenge called Interactive Page Number Frenzy on Christian Fiction Devourers, and that is one of the first books that I looked at for that one, and that is the one I wanted to read last month, actually, for Epistolatory January. I just never got to it. That's, I think, the third one in the series, and I have already started that, obviously. So now the next one that I need to read is called Crown of Beauty and Anarchy by Aurora Bell, and that is for Chantel's challenge, indie book club challenge. This cover is beautiful. I cannot wait to get it. She had posted that it was on sale for 99 cents, so I had gotten that one. So I am very excited for that one too. Now, this one is, hopefully I'm going to get to it this month. This is another one that I should have wrote this down for Prince Philip, but I didn't, and I wrote it in pen in my notebook, so I just wrote it in other possibilities. It's called 7 Seconds by Bethany Klassen, and this author sent this book to me on Instagram and asked me if I would read it, and I said I would, and I told her that I just had a baby, so I didn't know when I would get to it, but anyway, I would like to get this one as soon as I possibly can. So this one is a sweet Western romance, so I am hoping to get to that one soon. I could use a good romance. The next one would be the third book in the Grand Tour series called Glittering Promises by Lacey T. Bergren. I've already started that one. I think I'm maybe almost halfway through it, and I'm really enjoying it so far, so I will be getting that one done as well. Now, this next one is called Wedding Day Murder by Leslie Meyer. I'm in the middle of the Lucy Stone series. I think this one might be number 6 or 7 maybe. I got this one out of the library, and it needs to go back soon, so I might get to it. I can't find it on Hoopla, unfortunately, so I am just hoping to hopefully get to that one soon. Now the next ones that I have are all, I just went into my Kindle and looked for books that I own that were fairy tale retellings. I have so many from the avid readers of Christian Fiction group. Every Sunday they post free books, and I get so many from there. So the first one is The Mystery Princess by Melanie Sellier, The Baker and the Wolf by J.M. Stengel, I hope I'm saying that right. The Bluebeard and the Outlaw by Tara Grace. I've heard of that author, never read anything by her though. This one I had put on my February TBR last year until I went MIA. Anyway, and hit a reading slump. So Before Beauty by Brittany Fichter, The Huntsman Redeemed by Amerlyn Holland, The Nutcracker Suite by Shatona Havoc, and I can't wait to read another Shatona Havoc because I read a book by her last year and I loved it, and she's just so witty. I love watching her videos too. She's so funny. I kind of want to, like, you know, she can be my adopted mama or something like that because she just seems so funny. Anyway, another one, Once Upon a Winter by Heidi Iliarbo, Rose by Morgan Dawson, and then I actually own a fairy tale retelling. It's a modern. It says it's a contemporary Cinderella retelling, and it's called If the Shoe Fits by Sandra D. Bricker, and that is one I found from the Little Free Library. Anyway, that is all I have, but this is what we have going on. But I can't wait to see what I get into this month, and I hope that I will maybe get to see some of you on sprints. If you got to the end of this video, put in a something that reminds you of a fairy tale down in the comments, and I will see you on another day, friends. Bye.